brilliant minds! Welcome back to Concepts Unwrapped, the channel where we crack open the tough ideas and make them super easy and fun. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating concepts in economics, the law of diminishing marginal utility. Ever wondered why the first bite of your favorite snack feels amazing, but by the fifth, you're kinda over it? Well, that's exactly what we're about to explore. And I promise it'll be both fun and insightful. So, buckle up, grab your snacks, and let's dive into the world of diminishing marginal utility. Let's now talk about a very important idea in economics: utility. What is utility? Utility simply means the satisfaction or pleasure a person gets from consuming a good or service. For example, when you eat a delicious apple, the happiness or satisfaction you feel is your utility. There are two main types of utility. 1. Total utility, TU. This is the total satisfaction you get from consuming a certain quantity of a good. For example, if you eat 3 apples, the total utility is the combined satisfaction from all 3 apples. 2. Marginal utility, MU. This is the extra satisfaction you get from consuming one more unit of the good. For example, if you eat a 4th apple, the marginal utility is the satisfaction you get from that 4th apple alone. The formula for TU is total utility, TU, equals the sum of all marginal utilities from each unit consumed. And formula for MU is MU equals TUN minus TUN-1. So, utility helps us understand how people make choices about what and how much to consume. There are 2 ways to think about utility in economics: cardinal utility analysis. This way measures utility in numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. It tells us exactly how much satisfaction we get from something. Ordinal utility analysis. This way measures utility by ranking. It doesn't use numbers, but shows which things people like more or less. Let's begin with the law of diminishing marginal utility. This law was first introduced by German economist Professor H. Gaussen and later popularized by Professor Alfred Marshall. Hence, this law is also known as Gaussen's first law. The law of diminishing marginal utility says that when you use more of something, the extra happiness you get from each extra unit gets smaller. Here's an explanation for the girl's expressions after eating chocolates, representing the law of diminishing marginal utility. First chocolate, happy and excited. She's excited and enjoys the chocolate very much. She gets high marginal utility. Second chocolate, less excited. She still enjoys it, but with less excitement. Marginal utility decreases compared to the first chocolate. Third chocolate, neutral or bored. She's losing interest and doesn't enjoy it as much. Marginal utility is low. Fourth chocolate, displeased or bored. She's tired or even unhappy with more chocolate. Marginal utility may be 0 or negative, meaning she no longer wants it. Let's understand the law using this simple table of bananas consumed. What does this table show? Total utility, TU, represents the total satisfaction you get from eating bananas. Marginal utility, MU, shows the extra satisfaction you get from eating one more banana. How are these values calculated? For total utility, TU, this is just the total amount of satisfaction from consuming the bananas. For example, eating 1 banana gives you 12 units of satisfaction, 2 bananas give you 18, and so on. For marginal utility, MU, we calculate it using the formula MU equals TUN minus TUN minus 1. This means we subtract the total utility of the previous quantity from the current quantity. Let's break it down. For the first banana, equals TU equals 12. Since it's the first one, there's no previous value. For the second banana, MU equals 18 minus 12 equals 6. For the third banana, MU equals 22 minus 18 equals 4. For the fourth banana, MU equals 24 minus 22 equals 2. For the fifth banana, MU equals 24 minus 24 equals 0. For the sixth banana, MU equals 22 minus 24 equals minus 2. What does this tell us? The law of diminishing marginal utility states that as we consume more units of bananas, the extra satisfaction or marginal utility from each additional unit decreases. Notice how MU goes from 12 to 6, then 4, 2, 0, and even becomes negative at minus 2. This shows that after a point, eating more bananas doesn't make you happier. In fact, it might make you feel worse. Hence, total utility can increase but at a diminishing rate. Marginal utility decreases with each additional unit, and it can even become negative. This is why we eventually stop consuming more of a good, because it no longer gives us extra satisfaction. Let's learn how to draw the total utility, TU, and marginal utility, MU, curves step by step. Begin by drawing two axes. The horizontal x-axis represents the quantity of bananas or apples consumed, labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The vertical y-axis represents the utility values labeled as 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25th. First, plot the total utility, TU, curve using total utility values for each quantity consumed. For example, when one banana is eaten, the total utility is 12. For 2 bananas, it's 18, and so on. Mark the points. TU equals 12 for 1 banana, 18 for 2 bananas, 22 for 3 bananas, 24 for 4 bananas, 24 for 5 bananas, and 22 for 6 bananas. Connect these points with a smooth curve to form the TU curve, which initially rises, then flattens at its maximum point of 24, and slightly decreases afterward. Next, plot the marginal utility, MU, curve using marginal utility values for each quantity. These values represent the additional satisfaction from consuming one more banana. Start by plotting MU equals 12 for the first banana, 6 for the second, 4 for the third, 2 for the fourth, 0 for the fifth, and minus 2 for the sixth. Connect these points with a downward sloping line to form the MU curve. The point where MU reaches 0 at the fifth banana is called the point of saturation, which can be marked with a dashed line. In summary, while the TU curve shows the total satisfaction from all units consumed, the MU curve illustrates the extra satisfaction gained from each additional unit. As long as MU is positive, TU increases. When MU becomes 0, TU reaches its maximum, and when MU turns negative, TU begins to decline. This demonstrates the law of diminishing marginal utility, which states that as more units of a good are consumed, the extra satisfaction from each new unit gradually decreases, eventually reaching 0 and then becoming negative. All right, students, let's wrap it up. The law of diminishing marginal utility tells us that as we consume more of a good, like bananas in our example, the extra satisfaction or marginal utility we get from each additional unit keeps dropping. Total utility increases at first, but eventually reaches its peak and starts to decline. Marginal utility even becomes 0 or negative, meaning consuming more doesn't bring extra joy, it might even reduce it. So, what's the key takeaway? Always remember, balance is key. Consume what you need for maximum satisfaction and avoid overindulgence. This simple yet powerful idea is the foundation for understanding how consumers make decisions. Thank you for watching. Concepts Unwrapped. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more engaging lessons on economics. See you in the next video. Happy learning!